It's been 2 years since our little blue devil Sonic appeared in the small Montana town of Green Hills, and now his arch nemesis Dr. Robotnik returns from the Mushroom World, but this time he isn't alone. I'm Nars, and this is IGN's FanFest. I'm so excited to interview the cast and crew of Sonic 2, but we put some feelers out for die-hard questions, and we got some incredible ones, so thank you guys so much for joining me.
Of course.
Thanks for having us.
Hi, this is Jeff Fowler. I'm the director of Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Hey, my name is Ben Schwartz. I play Sonic in Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Hey everyone, I'm James Marsden, and I play Tom in Sonic 2.
Hello, I'm Colleen O'Shaughnessy, and I play Tails in Sonic the Hedgehog.
Now, our first question to Jeff. You've spoken about the bigger scope of Sonic 2 in comparison to the first movie. Obviously, we have more characters, Tails and Knuckles, but you also spoken about bigger action, bigger set pieces. How do you balance the scope from a personal perspective and then kind of build on those moments with every individual character?
That's the trick is trying to balance it all, because we have an embarrassment of riches. I mean, there's so much great material to pull from. 30 years this Sonic's been around. There's so many great characters, so many great worlds. But yeah, that's kind of just the movie making process, is just trying to figure out the right proportions of the action, the humor, and the heart. But I think, just speaking for how we approach these movies, I don't think anyone ever came out of a movie theater and said, you know what, that movie had too much heart. That was a real turnoff. These emotions. I think we always work really hard on the script to have that heart in there, and then once the cast comes in, they do a great job. I mean, perfect example is our rowboat scene. Those kind of scenes are really, their importance cannot be overstated. So yeah, it's but the action is fun too. So it's a big movie, and it's got more of all the stuff everyone loves from the first film.
Now, Ben, without giving away any spoilers, have those changes impacted how Sonic is portrayed, or would you say there's like significant character development in Sonic from 1 and 2?
I think there is actually great character development. I think that Jeff and the writers did an incredible job in that Sonic has someplace to grow. Sonic has with the scale. Sonic has new ambitions and things like that. So it's really fun to get to play that. So kind of the arc of the first one is this little kid that doesn't have any friends, trying to find a place to belong and find a family. And then the second one has a different kind of arc for Sonic, which I'm not going to say to not give anything away, but it's really lovely. And it goes into what Jeff said. I think you can have all this action, which they do so well. You can have all this comedy, which is so fun. But when you have the heart and when you care about what happens to your characters, I think that's when the movie goes from good to great. And Jeff is incredible at that. So we have a whole bunch of that.
Ben said it perfectly. No matter how much action you have, if you don't care about the characters, then all that action is kind of meaningless. It has no stakes. So as we bring in these new great characters like Tails and Knuckles, we're going to work really hard to make sure that the audience cares about them, and then has a great time with them, for 2 hours.
Speaking of bringing in new characters, Jeff, the movie so far is keeping up with the game's timeline, the original Sonic, and now Sonic 2 with Tails' introduction, and obviously Knuckles came in Sonic 3, but we have him here in this movie. Are there any specific set pieces, levels, designs, etc. from Sonic 2 and 3, the games, that you wanted to pull for this sequel?
Oh yeah, all kinds, and one of them was in the trailer, of course. The biplane, the tornado, is such an iconic visual from Sonic 2, and so as we were sort of setting out to plot Sonic 2, I think we all got really excited about just pulling that great sort of imagery that all the fans are going to get excited about when they see it on the big screen, and just creating a real cinematic version of the stuff that fans have loved, from Sonic 1, from Sonic 2. But yeah, it's a great problem to have, that there's so many great Easter eggs to kind of incorporate, and this movie is chock full of them. I couldn't even begin to list them, because there's just so much stuff fans get excited about.
Do you think Tom thinks of Sonic as a son or as a best friend or friend?
That's a great question. I think the beginning of the first film, obviously, and all throughout the first film, it was a friendship. It was a buddy road trip, but I think their relationship continues to evolve into this second movie. When Sonic is part of the family now. He's moved in, and he's getting a little too big for his britches, and maybe a bit ahead of his skis a little bit, and he needs somebody to kind of come in and maybe I think it's something that, like, yes, it's starting to evolve into more of a parental relationship, whether Tom's aware of it or not. I think Tom's just trying to be a good, supportive presence for him, and to like any father would, sort of guide him through life and let him, reassure him that he's going to have his time, and there'll be a reason for him to to be using all these powers that he feels like he's not allowed to use. So yeah, I think obviously it began as a friendship, but it continues to evolve into, I think more of a sort of father-son sort of relationship dynamic. And again, like, whether Tom's aware of it or not, he's just trying to be a good guy for the kid.
Has the introduction of Tails and Knuckles, who obviously share similarities with Sonic, has that impacted your approach to voicing the characters?
The idea that now we get to see Sonic with a sidekick for the first time, someone that is a sycophant, someone that looks up to him, is so exciting. And then someone that's more powerful than him becomes extremely exciting too. So I think you get to see different shades of what Sonic's like.
I think I approach Tails the same way every time, whether it was for the show or the games. I think the difference here is that it's more the beginning of the relationship, and we're establishing, getting to know each other and learning who Tails is, learning who Sonic is with this little buddy. And, it's such a collaborative effort when you work on anything. So I get lots of guidance from Jeff and the writers. And I think I approach it the same way, though.
Mario might make a movie, or is making a movie that's coming out soon. Is there anything Sonic would like to say to his longtime rival?
Ooh.
Oh, man.
It could be controversial. Careful, Ben.
Yeah,
for real, by the way. Am I allowed to say anything?
Yeah.
Can I say something, Jeff? Then you can tell me if I can say it?
Just go for it. Just what does your heart tell you?
My heart says Smash Brothers Initiative.
Terribly Polly C asks James a fan question. Has working with CG characters affected your approach to acting? Are you able to improvise on lines or actions?
To be honest with you, it's strange to act with real people anymore, for me. It is the future. It is the most COVID-safe, COVID-friendly way to shoot a film. I've done a couple of films that are this model, which is a mix of live action and animation, and been very lucky to sort of figure it out along the way. It's definitely technical. Like you have to kind of map everything out before. You have to have a clear understanding of what the scene's about. And Ben and I have gotten to be very close, much closer than he felt comfortable with as friends during this process. But it was important because they were shooting all of my stuff first, and then it would be sent back to Ben, and he would have to kind of fill in the gaps. So we got a good sense of each other's sense of humor and sensibilities, and so that's always a good thing. I think that's really important to know. If I come up with something on the day, you asked about like improvisation, I got to know that Ben's going to understand what I'm doing or where I'm going with it.
The animators come in and do their thing with Sonic, but if the cast, if they're not sort of making the scene feel real, or the conversation between Sonic and Tom, if it feels if you feel the technical nature of it, then it's just not going to work. And James has always just given us such great material to work with, and the animators then come in and put it all together. But yeah, it's incredibly challenging. So it's one of those things that I cannot say enough wonderful things about James and all the cast, because everyone has to deal with that same technical challenge.
It is a challenge, and these days especially, we are alone. We have a voice in our head, and that's directing us, and then the microphone. So it's challenging. We don't have makeup, we don't have costumes, we don't have sets, we don't have props. So you have to create everything with just your voice coming through a microphone. You don't even have your face. So it's challenging, but it's something that it's a skill that you can develop, and all those acting 101 sticking points, they're there. Who are you talking to? What's the situation? what in this situation, what would this character do? Where has he been? Where is he going? Who's he talking to? So, you got to hang on to all those acting chops from a million years ago and just throw them into the ether.
What about you, Ben?
First of all, way easier to not have James there. It's a waste of time to have him around me. So way easier to do without him. Absolute piece of garbage. Like, bologna sandwich, no bread, no condiments, like acting with styrofoam. So for me to do it by myself was a huge, huge help. But I will say, so I've been doing voiceover since 2005, so 17. Oh my goodness, I'm getting so old. So like 17 years. And the thing that I've learned from deciphering between the two is that exactly what Colleen said, and Colleen is obviously a hero of this, of the Sonic franchise in every form, is that because you don't see our faces, and even though sometimes they put dots on my face and they put a bunch of cameras there, you have to act out what your face is kind of doing. You almost have to give it a little bit more. You almost have to to give the animator something to play with, or to kind of give them a path and what you're feeling and emoting. It's a skill set. It's a really interesting and wonderful skill set.
Colleen, I have a fan question from Remy the Chipmunk. Having voiced Tails for numerous IP, what was it like stepping back into this role again?
Stepping into Tails is really comfortable for me. I just love him to pieces, and I think I've been voicing him for 7, maybe 8 years now. So I can easily step into those shoes. This was definitely a different experience as far as, it was a more grounded performance. There are definite moments in the film that are different than what Tails has experienced before. But I feel very comfortable. I just love him so much. He's this little piece of me right here that I can just, pick him up and off we go.
Stacey wants to know, how did you land the role of Sonic?
It kind of started at the very beginning. I had a meeting with Tim Miller, who's a producer on this movie. I had it with something else. And right next to him at Blur was Jeff Fowler. And they said, we're going to go out with Sonic because it didn't have a home yet. And they were telling me about it, and I told them how much, I love voiceover, and told them about the stuff I was doing. And they said, maybe one day we'll have you help out a little bit. And so they called me to do just a test scene, which is a 5-minute scene that Jeff was going to direct, that was eventually going to go out to all the studios. And then if the studios liked it, they would hopefully say we do Sonic. And it was kind of like a freebie deal, and that I was told that, it doesn't mean you're going to be the person, just would you help us out and do us a favor? And I love the IP so much, and I love the character so much that I said, yes, of course. And we did it, and Jeff did an incredible job making that test video. And if it wasn't incredible, he wouldn't have been able to do it. And then Paramount bought it, and then I think they went through the process of maybe going through the very famous people of who maybe could take on Sonic, and they kept going back to that. They kept going back to that test scene, right, Jeff?
Yep.
And then
we had it right.
And then
we had it right from the start.
And when I did it, he loved the way I delivered it and felt like that's the way that Sonic in the film should be delivered. And then I remember I waited, like 8 months or something. And then I got a phone call from Jeff. I know exactly the street I was on in Burbank. I was just doing a VO thing, and I was coming off, and he told me while I was walking down, I know the sidewalk I was on, when he finally said, you're going to be Sonic. And I was like, I did that ER move at the beginning of ER where he goes on his knee and he goes like this from the opening sequence in ER. I was so excited. There was no money at the beginning. It was just a favor, but I believed in Jeff, and I loved the project so much that I would do whatever they wanted. And it ended up that they had given me an incredible opportunity afterwards.
So our final fan question comes from Elfon TV, and Elfon wants to ask Jeff, are we going to see a Sonic 3?
Nothing would make me happier. We have such a great time making these movies. I think everyone just loves the world, loves the characters. But right now we're just, we're kind of going one movie at a time. So fingers crossed, everybody comes out and has a great time with this sequel. And then, hopefully we'll get to do more.
Now, you may have noticed that we're missing the 2 villains of the Sonic sequel, Dr. Robotnik and Knuckles. They couldn't be here for the panel, but Jim Carrey and Idris Elba want to answer your fan questions, so here's what they had to say.
IGN, what's up? It's Idris Elba, and this is from Blair Witch Hunt. And their question was, what personal touches did I bring to my character Knuckles? Well, the personal touches that I try to bring is, I guess, a sense of humor. He's, you know me, I'm known for being hilarious, but Knuckles definitely isn't. So, you know, in the recording of my character, I would just bring some oddities to him in his personality. He was like, he didn't think he was saying funny stuff, but we would just encourage him to say stuff that just sounded funny and sounded so serious. So there's like one scene, I can't tell you too much about it, but he talks about ice cream. And he talks about ice cream pretty seriously. Anyway, that was sort of my personal touch, is trying to bring and inject a little humor. Thanks for that question. Much love. Can't wait to see the movie.
I have a question here from someone in the ether. Why do you think Dr. Robotnik's character is such a good fit for you? How does he compare to other wacky characters you've played in your career? I think Robotnik is the perfect fit for me because I am a master of playing people who are filled with self-loathing and who compensate for it with a veneer of total confidence and even an air of superiority. And so when I get that call, I'll be there. Yes, sir. I'll be in the way bad guys yell when they're being thwarted. I'll be in the way kids laugh when they want a new Jim Carrey movie and they hear Sonic 2's on the TV. And when the people are eating the popcorn they made and playing video games in the circle of friends they built online, I'll be there too. Scene.